You are welcome to the Scholar Online class.
The Scholar School will establish our footprints on the sand of time. You can't afford to miss any bits of this class. Experience the difference.
Good day. You are welcome to another section of the Scholar Online class. And today we'll bring into your footstep a brand new opportunity for those that will be writing GCE. We'll be looking at alternatives to practical questions for those that will be writing GCE, like I said earlier. And I'm your tutor for biology, Miss Fatima. So today we'll be bringing and listing different specimens for practical questions, like I said, whereby we have specimen A, which is a weevil damaged bean seed. Specimen B as a viable bean seed, that means a beans that has not been damaged. Then specimen D, a dried maize grain. Specimen D, soldier termite. Specimen E, honey bee. Specimen F, which is moody water. Specimen G, which is the lower jaw of herbivore with the teeth intact. Now, moving forward, we'll be looking at specimen A because that's our first specimen. Now, for practical questions, especially for alternative to practical, you'll be writing a lot, explaining more details about each specimen. You explain a lot about each given specimen. Now, starting from the first specimen, which is specimen A, which is our what? Our weevil damaged bean seed. You will be asked to identify specimen A. And when you are answering, you are meant to answer like you were given just one, because each student is expected to have just one bean seed each, one specimen each. Now, you'll be asked to identify and you are meant to explain by saying specimen A is a weevil damaged bean seed. When you are saying that bean, you must make sure that you don't add the letter S at the back of the bean because it is just a single bean. Now, apart from the weevil which damaged the bean seed, you might be asked to list other organisms that can be responsible for what? For the damage of the bean seed. We have birds, we have beetle, and we also have rodents. All these organisms are also responsible for what? For what? Bean damage, bean seed damage. Now, specimen A is a weevil damaged bean seed. Now, moving forward, you'll be asked to classify according to the kingdom, according to the phylum, according to the class. Specimen A belongs to the kingdom Animalia. The weevil damaged bean seed, that weevil belongs to the kingdom Animalia. Why? Because they are consumers. They depend on the producers for their food. And the producer for this bean, weevil damaged bean seed, is what? The bean, the plants. Plants are primary what? Producers. While the weevil damaged bean seed is a what? Is a consumer. So it belongs to the kingdom Animalia. Moving forward, you'll be asked to classify under the phylum. Which phylum does this weevil damaged bean seed belong to? It belongs to the phylum Arthropoda. Why? Because it has what? Jointed appendages. And it also have what? Legs. Now, other organisms that belongs to the phylum Arthropoda are our cockroach, because they also have what? Three body division. You will also be asked to classify under the class. Which class does weevil bean damaged seed belong to? It belongs to the class Insecta because of what? It is an insect. That three body division, what? It is what? An insect. Now, when they say something has three body division, that means it has both the head, the thorax, and the what? Abdomen. So this weevil damaged bean seed belongs to the class Insecta. And why is it under Insecta? Is because of the three body division, which is the head, the thorax, and the what? The abdomen. Moving forward, you might be asked that, okay, this weevil damaged bean seed, how can we prevent the bean seed from being damaged by weevils? Number one, that's under mode of what? Storage, food storage and food preservation. One method we can use is by drying it, because this weevil can't survive in hot temperature, and when you expose the bean under sun, it will increase the temperature, making it inconducive, and they can't survive, so they will die. So that's one way of preserving it, by drying it. Another way of preserving it is the use of pesticide and what? Insecticide. Rodent is a pest, Weevil is an insect, so we can use either pesticide to prevent the pests, and we can use insecticide to also prevent what the insects from destroying our bean seed. Another method you can use is by canning method under food preservation and storage. You can use canning method whereby the beans are canned into tin to preserve them from microorganisms and to preserve them from what insects. Another method we can use is freezing method. Freezing method, the temperature is too cold, they can't survive because they prefer moist condition, they prefer moist environment. That is where they can survive. When the temperature is not too much and it's not too low, that is when they can survive and reproduce. But when the condition of the atmosphere is too cold, is not conducive for them, what will happen? They'll die, they can't survive, so they will look for other places to go to. So these are the methods of preserving our specimen A. I said the first one, drying method, freezing method, canning method, and also the use of what pesticide and insecticide. Moving forward, you can also explain the adaptive features of what this weevil in the bean seed. Number one, they have what presence of proboscis, which is used for what boring and bulging into the seed. So before they can penetrate into the bean seed, they have proboscis for what, for boring into it and what bulging. They'll make hole, then they'll enter it into it easily. Another one is the possession of small body size. This bean seed is a very small crop, a small particle. So because of they are also small in size, they can do what, easily stay inside, easily penetrate. So this their small body size makes it easy for them to what, to stay in the bean seed successfully. Now you might be asked that, okay, this bean seed given to you, what are the observable features that you can see? When they're asking me for observable features, it means things that you can see, that you don't need to use microscope. Number one, it is a damaged bean seed, so I must see O. So there is always O that shows that, okay, this bean has been damaged by a weevil. You see the presence of O. Another one is what, you can say the bean has been damaged by what, by the weevil. Another one is part of the bean seed has been eaten up by the what, by the weevil. Now that O that you are seeing, you can also say that it has been perforated by the what, by the weevil. You can say that, oh, this bean seed has been perforated by the weevil. Now moving forward, you might be asked that the weevil damaged bean seed, is it a viable seed or is it not a viable seed? Now under the conditions for germination, the seed must be what, viable. And for the bean seed to have been damaged by the weevil, it means it is no longer what, viable. It can't survive under the conditions for what, germination. So it is not a viable bean seed. Moving forward, we're going to the other specimen, which is what, a viable bean seed. With the description of the specimen, a viable bean seed, that means it can undergo germination. It qualifies to be what, to be part of the things that are necessary for what, germination, because it is a viable bean seed. Now moving forward, you'll be asked to what, classify, just as we classified the first one. And for the classification, the bean seed, there's no weevil there, just viable bean seed. And I explained that plants are what, primary producers. So this bean seed is under the kingdom Plantae. Why? Because it is a producer. Other organisms, the consumer, they depend on it. So it is a what, it is a producer. And the division, it is under angiospermatophytes. Why? Because they are vascular plants. Now for the class, it belongs to Spermatophyta because it is a vascular plant that bears seed. For a plant to be classified as a spermatophyte, it must be a vascular plant that's what, bears seed. Now they might ask that specimen B, under the 6 classes of food, where does it fall and what does it do? Now specimen B is a protein and serve as body building and repair of worn out tissue. Now for specimen B, the digestion starts from the what, it starts in the stomach and helps in the production of what, amino acid. Now you might also move and explain further by telling us the mode of dispersal of specimen B. Why then? The mode of dispersal of specimen B is explosive mechanism, and it happens for all leguminous plants such as our cowpea, our soya bean, and lots more. So they undergo what? Explosive mechanism for their mode of dispersal. Moving forward, we'll be looking at specimen C, which is our dried maize grain. It belongs to the kingdom Plantae. It is also a what? A primary producer. It belongs to the division Angiospermatophytes. Why? Because they are vascular plants. Now, under the 6 classes of food, where does it belong? It is a carbohydrate, and they serve as what? Energy-giving food. For this specimen B, its own digestion starts from the what? From the mouth. Now, you might be asked that what is the difference between specimen B and specimen C? First, you must give the observable differences that you can see. Now, for the shape, which is something you can see, observable feature, it is kidney shaped. We all know our bean is what? It is kidney shaped or C shaped. While for our maize, it is what? Triangular shape. Another observable feature that you can see is the color. You can say the bean is silvery white, while the corn is what? Yellow. It's yellowish in color. That's observable features that you can see. Moving forward, you can also say that this one is not observable, it's something we know, is that it is what? The bean is what? 2-seeded, while the maize is just 1 seed, single seed. So that's all on specimen A, B, and C, where we look at the classification and the differences and observable features. Now, moving to specimen D, we have soldier termites. In this specimen D, they were specific. They said in the caste and members of termites, we were given was soldier termites. Now, you'll be asked the habitats. Where can we find the soldier termites? We can find them in ant hill, and we can find them in what? Termitarium. That's where they stay. Now, what are the members or caste of this soldier termites? We have the queen, which duty is laying of egg. We have the workers, which their duty is what? The building of the ant hill and feed the rest of the caste. Now, for the soldier termites, its major role is just for defense. Their own role is defense and to protect the termitarium. So that's what they do. They protect the termitarium for defense. Now, under the classification, it belongs to the phylum Arthropoda. Why? Because of what? They have 3 body division. They have jointed appendages or legs. So for the class, they also belong to the class Insecta because of that 3 body division: head, thorax, and abdomen. Now, what are the observable features of these soldier termites? What you can see: number 1, possession of 3 pairs of working legs. They don't have wings. Soldier termites, they don't have wings. Another one is that they are blind. They don't have eyes. Soldier termites, they are blind. They don't have eyes. Then they also have possession of what? 3 body division. That's why they are insecta: head, thorax, and what? Abdomen. They also undergo incomplete metamorphosis. That means they don't have the egg, larva, pupa, adult. They are only just egg, nymph, adults. They don't undergo complete metamorphosis. They undergo incomplete metamorphosis. Now, what is this soldier termite? What is its importance in the environment, in the ecosystem? Number 1, they increase soil fertility through aeration of the soil. They increase soil fertility through the what? Aeration of the soil. That's one economic importance. They also help in the destruction. Importance can also be negative. So they help in the destruction of wooden materials. We all know our termites, they do what? They destroy wooden material. Looking at specimen E, which is our honey bee. And in this specimen, we're not told the member. Is it the queen? Is it the king? Or is it just the worker? We're just told the honey bee. Now, for the honey bee, they belong to the phylum Arthropoda. They also belong to the kingdom Animalia, and they also belong to the class Insecta. Where we can find our honey bees, they are found in where? They are found in the hives. That's where we see and find our honey bee. Now, the caste and members of this specimen E are the queen, the drone, and the worker. The queen laying egg, the drone to meet the queen, the worker, they protect and they provide food for the rest of the members. Now, what are the observable features of specimen E? Number 1, possession of 3 pairs of walking leg. Number 2, they are also blind. Their body is also divided into 3 divisions, and they have exoskeleton. That means their skeleton is outside the body. That's their wings. They have what? Exoskeleton. But they also undergo what? Complete metamorphosis. They are not like soldier termite that undergo incomplete metamorphosis. For honeybee, they undergo complete metamorphosis. That's egg, larva, pupa, adults. So moving forward, another observable feature is that you can see is their color. They are what? Pale yellow. So if you are given these specimens and you are asked varieties of questions, you are meant to explain in details the adaptive features, the observable features, the importance, the class, the name, anything you can explain, you explain in detail. Now, moving forward, another thing is that the exoskeleton, like I said, which is their wing. So you can say what? They have wing. Now, importance of this specimen is what? They help in the production of honey. Since they always told us about honeybee, and we know honey, they help in what? The production of honeybee, they help in the production of honey. Another importance is they help in pollination. They help in pollination, transfer of pollen grain from one plant to another. So they assist and help in what? Pollination. So you might be asked that what are the similarities between specimen D and specimen E? That's the difference between the similarities between our soldier termite and our honeybee. Number 1, they are both social insects, and they also have 3 body division. Both of them, they have 3 body division: head, thorax, abdomen, and they are both social insects. Now, what are the differences between specimen D and specimen E? Number 1, specimen D does not have wings. Soldier termites, they don't have wings, absence of wings. Specimen E, they have what? Wings. For specimen D also, they undergo incomplete metamorphosis, like I explained earlier. Specimen E, they undergo complete metamorphosis. Now, another observable difference that you can see is specimen D, which is our soldier termite, they have what? Large head. While for specimen E, they have small head. Now, another difference is that since they were specific about the termites that they want, they said the soldier termite, which its major role is for what? For defense. But for the specimen E, we were not told the one. They just told us honeybee. So you can just say they help in what? Provision of food for the members. But for this one, specimen D, they were specific. They serve as defense to the what? Termitory, to the termitarium, so they defend and protect the rest of the members. You have what? Specimen F, muddy water. Now, if you say something is with muddy water, that means water that is not clear, that has particles in it. And as we know, water is meant to be what? Colorless, odorless, and what? Tasteless. So if I have a muddy water in a beaker, what are the things I should observe? What are the things I will see? Number 1, I will see stone or gravels settled at the bottom of what? Of the beaker. Moving forward, I will also notice what? Sand above the stone and the what? The gravel. Then after that, I will see what? Suspended particles. As they will just be floating in the water. They are not settling down, but what? They are moving around. After that, I will see water that is what? A bit clear. This water is different from the ones below the beaker, at the bottom of the beaker. Then after that, at the edge of the beaker, I will see what? Humus. These are the things I will notice in my muddy water specimen F. Now moving forward, you were asked that specimen G, which is our what? The lower jaw of herbivore with what? Teeth intact. You might be asked, or you are even expected to explain what herbivorous animals are. Herbivorous animals are animals that feed on plants and plant materials, such as grasses, weeds, leaves, and lots more. So they feed on what? Plant materials. Now, examples of herbivore are sheep, rabbits, goats, cow. But since they told us, they were specific that with the teeth intact, I will be listing herbivores with what? Their dental formula. So in case you were told that explain what herbivorous animals are, give examples. For more points, you can even go into detail by giving them the dental formula of the organism we are about to mention. So here I have 4 herbivorous animals with their dental formula, and there's a thing I want us to observe. Now, for the sheep, we have in their incisor there is no incisor in the upper jaw. The numerator means the upper jaw, while the denominator is what? The lower jaw. For the numerator, there is no, that means the upper jaw, no incisor for sheep. Also, they don't have canine. In their premolar, they have 3. In their upper jaw, they have 3 in their lower jaw. In their molar, they have 3 in their upper jaw. They have 3 in their lower jaw. Now, for rabbit also, in their incisor, they have 2 in their upper jaw, 1 in their lower jaw. They also don't have canine, both upper and lower. But sheep, them, they have 1 in their lower jaw. Then, for their premolar, they have what? 3 in their upper jaw, 2 in their lower jaw. Their molar, 3 in their upper jaw, 3 in their lower jaw. For cow, they have no incisor in their upper jaw. They have 3 in their lower jaw. They also don't have what? They don't have any canine in their upper jaw. They have just 1 in their lower jaw. For cow, they have 3 premolar in their upper jaw, 3 in their what? Lower jaw. They have 3 in their molar, they have 3 in their upper jaw, 3 in their lower jaw. For goats also, they have no incisor in their upper jaw. They have 4 in their lower jaw. They also don't have any canine at all. Then for the premolar, they have 3 in their upper jaw, 3 in their lower jaw. For the molar, they have 3 in their upper jaw, 3 in their lower jaw. If you can observe, you will find out that all these herbivores listed, they don't have canine in their upper jaw. So now for herbivorous animals, they don't have canine in their upper jaw. We should have said absence of canine, but in some instances, they have canine and it is only found in their lower jaw. So you can use that to gain a point by saying herbivorous animals are animals that have what? That feed on plant materials, and they feed on plants, and there's always absence of what? Canine in their upper jaw, but they have what? Canine in their what? Lower jaw, with other parts of teeth. So that's for what? Herbivorous animal. Herbivorous animals are animals that feed on plant materials and also feed on plants. And one observable feature is that what? They don't have canine in their upper jaw, but there's canine in the lower jaw. So you can give examples of herbivores, since they were specific that what? With teeth intact. You can name at least 3 with their what? Dental formula. We hope to see you in the next section of the online scholar class. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. They are helping them too. You can just send the link to them to also come and watch the videos.
Wish you best of luck. Don't miss our next class. It promises to be mouth-watering.